How's it going, everybody? I am the Texas Man. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous day. Please give this video a thumbs up if you guys really enjoy it. Subscribe if you guys have not already. Also, do me the biggest favor of all, hit that bell notification button so you guys don't miss out on future videos or streams here on the channel. Also, please head over to Twitch. Follow me at Douglas447, no caps and no spaces. And if you guys want a copy of this book, The Digital Doom Chronicles, so you guys can read along with me or in your free time, let me know in the comments section. Of course, you're going to have to give me your email. I have a separate email set up. That way I don't get spammed and whatnot crazily. And I can send you a copy of this via email and, of course, Microsoft Word. And, of course, we're going to be starting up my next book in my book read-through series of the Digital Doom Chronicles. This, of course, is going to be a very long book. I ended up writing this book in 2012, so this is a more recent updated version. I was heavily inspired to write this book because I really was into Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and the Chronicles of Narnia. I read all the Narnia books and whatnot. I played a lot of Pokemon, Digimon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! And whatnot when I was much younger. And I was really inspired by those worlds and whatnot. And I thought, let's take some elements of that and let's see if we can actually end up making my own version of that, sprinkled in with my own imagination. And that's what turned into the Digital Doom Chronicles. This book is extremely long. It's 76 pages long, and there is a lot that happens. So I'm going to want to let you guys know that this is part one, and there's going to be at least 9 parts to this book because these chapters, most of them are really long. There are some chapters that are 10 to 15 pages. There's some that are 2 to 3 just because of what happens in them. Some of them are very dialogue heavy and some are just like super action packed paragraph wise. So I want to let you guys know right now this is going to be divided into 9 parts. I know in the past I've tried to condense it down to between 4 to 6. I want to let you guys know this is going to be a longer book, so it's going to take me a lot longer to read through, and I try to keep the parts of each video between 20 to 30 minutes. So I'm letting you guys know ahead of time. So I hope you guys all enjoy. And there is a lot of pictures at the beginning of this book. So this is page 1. And then we've got page 2 here. And so I've got actually a little bit of history we'll talk about. I'll give you guys the overview, general introduction, and then we'll start reading into the book. Another adventure awaits you, dear reader, as you are about to dive into Mr. Armstrong's new book, The Digital Doom Chronicles. Based on a card game that he made in 2008. This book was written shortly after Douglas finished writing the last chronicle in his Unit 4 story in 2012. Douglas always wanted a book to be made about humans entering a digital dimension. However, he didn't have the ideas completely ready. He was also finishing the Chronicles Unit 4. Now, after months of waiting, before DAA has returned from another action adventure that will take you on a journey like never before. Enjoy Mr. Armstrong's new book of a story about 3 humans becoming the heroes that save a dimension from doom. I mean, at least try to. So yeah, I actually made a card game before I wrote the book, and I made a card game because I was like I said earlier, I really like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Digimon, and so those really inspired me to actually make my own game, and I actually turned it into a book. So, alright, here we go. Introduction. All aboard Soul Train, yells the conductor of the underground transport. Peter Arnold, Sue Arnold, and Dale Stevenson board the train to leave Scotland and return home, England, to inform Peter's parents that his sister is marrying Dale. However, during the journey, a German vows to help his country from the loss of World War II by activating a bomb. The train explodes and all on board are killed, except for the conductor. Strangely though, after having their flesh removed and then replaced after the bomb's detonation, Peter, Dale, and Sue are still on board the train. Within seconds, a blue sphere approaches the group and transports them into a digital dimension with an odd name, Revelation. As the group moves about the strange world, they travel great distances to answer one question. How can we return to our world? After encountering a talking panda, a cursed house, a self-driving submarine, a jungle full of hazardous monsters, and an arena of ice, the group gears up to help Heaven Dragon defeat Hell Dragon for the control of Revelation. After battling against the devil, the unit meets a strange man named Timoneko and learns that he has summoned Peter's parents and girlfriend to help defeat other threats. The group aids Revelation by trying to stop Timoneko's twin brother, Claydudare, from killing Heaven Dragon in human form, battling an evil army of trolls, and stopping the poisoning of Revelation's oceans. Magic tigers, fireball hamsters, robotic teachers, zombies, and speedy terror creature warriors join the battle as the final days of a world much like our own is put in danger. Wolves prepare to attack those who appear on Dark Island shore. Black holes begin to appear. Human people transform into tanks, and the deadliest creature known to man arises in this epic book. Marriage, mystery, and war come together as the clock nears what must soon take place. The complete annihilation of an entire world. I declare your digital doom. All right, here we go. We're going to be reading Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 in this part. Chapter 1, Soul Train. The sight of Adolf Hitler being dead quickly spread throughout the globe. Television screens and newspapers were being sold more than ever in my lifetime. I walked over to the tiny newspaper vendor and paid the cost of 10 cents to read, in greater detail, whom killed the evil man who lived to 1945. "Peter Arnold," said a voice. I, Peter, looked to see my sibling Sue Arnold and her love, Dale Stevenson. All three of us left England many years ago on a train to escape the German bombings. We were now all 18, with no more school set in place, and my Aunt Susan and Uncle Henry had no more claim over us. We knew that since World War II was over, it was best to return home to see our parents, and inform them my sister was getting married at an early age. "Peter, I bought the last 3 tickets to get out of this country," said Sue. "We must return to the station if we plan to make it on board," said Dale. "All aboard Soul Train," said the conductor with a high-pitched voice. The three of us ran down several sets of stairs and made it just in time to board the underground train to leave Scotland and return home. "Last call for Soul Train," said the conductor. Dale handed me the tickets, and then I handed them to the conductor. "Thank you," said the conductor with a name tag reading Timoneko. The 3 passengers found their seats, and the conductor started the train's engine. "Timoneko is a strange name for a person," said Dale. "I agree. What kind of name is Soul Train?" said Sue. The 3 18-year-olds looked around to see other passengers. Peter looked around to see elderly couples, men returning home from a business meeting, and other younger children who couldn't stand the anticipation of seeing their parents again. The businessman looked up from his reading of a newspaper, placed the paper on the seat, stood up, and walked away. Everybody in the train watched as the paper turned on fire, and the businessman quickly re-entered the train car. "Long live Germany!" said the businessman, pulling out a Luger. Kabang! The German shot himself in the head, and his body quickly fell to the ground. All the passengers, except for the group of 3 18-year-olds, began screaming and headed towards Timoneko. Kaboom! The entire train was engulfed in flames, just before Peter looked at the bomb underneath the German's newspaper. Peter, Dale, and Sue watched as their death approached in the flash of a second. Everybody, except for Timoneko, had their skin burned off and was replaced with new skin 5 seconds later. The train came to a halt, and all the lights in the train and the tunnel went out. Peter, Dale, and Sue looked around to see no one besides themselves still on the train. "Wait here while I go find the conductor," said Dale. Dale ran out of the train car and headed towards the front of the train. "What in the world happened? I thought a bomb exploded and killed us all," said Sue with a panicky voice. Footsteps were being heard, and the siblings looked towards the doorway to enter the train car. "The conductor is gone also," said Dale, re-entering the train car. "Dale, look behind you," said Peter softly. Dale turned around to see a bright blue sphere floating towards the group. The strange light moved closer towards the group as the group as the grown-ups walked backwards to the last train car. "Any ideas?" asked Sue to her brother Peter. "Sorry, but I don't know," replied Peter. The group had stepped into the last train car, and the blue light was still moving towards them. "Here we go," said Dale. The light suddenly exploded and caused the train to start moving again. The 18-year-olds looked to see the light had vanished and realized the train was no longer underground. The three humans looked out of the glass windows to the left and saw a beach with waves a mile high. The group looked to the right and saw uncountable skyscrapers tilted sideways. What was the strangest part of the landscape was the roads in between the skyscrapers were moving up and down like a tidal wave. The train suddenly stopped, and the team watched as the sides of the train disappeared. Peter, Dale, and Sue stepped out of Soul Train and placed their shoes on a sandy ground. Once the group was no longer on board Soul Train, the train vanished from sight, leaving the humans in a cave. Dale looked both left and right to realize there was no tunnel either direction. "Where in the world are we?" asked Dale. "I'm not sure, but I believe we're in Doom City," said Peter, pointing at a pole in the sand. The pole was placed in the sand, and beside it was a gravel road that appeared to lead into the strange city. "Let's find help," said Peter, taking the role as leader. The group left the cave and started walking into Doom City. "I know for sure this is not England or Scotland," said Dale, looking at the strange beach behind them. "I don't believe this is America either," said Peter. "Why do you say that?" asked Dale. "When Christopher Columbus sailed, I don't think he meant buildings tilted sideways and roads moving like tidal waves when he said I was going to see the new world," said Peter. "If we're not in England, Scotland, or America, then where are we?" asked Sue. "Welcome to Revelation, land of weirdness and Doom City," said a voice. The group was in the middle of a street, which had nothing in it or around it. "Over there," said Sue. "What?" asked Peter. "I saw something," replied Sue. "Hello there," said the creature. The group looked to see a panda in the middle of the street. "Did you just talk?" asked Peter. "Yes, and welcome," said the panda. The eyes of the humans expressed their thoughts of them all being crazy. "I am Grandpa Panda, and my friends just call me Panda," said the talking animal. "Our names are Peter Arnold, Sue Arnold, and Dale Stevenson," said Peter. "It is not every day humans enter our world. Please, come with me," said Panda. "Come with you where?" asked Peter. "My home, so my friend can meet you also before your journey begins," said Panda. "Come on, we don't know where we are, but he does," said Peter. The group walked only for 5 minutes and soon came to one of the buildings that were tilted sideways. "Panda, what are you doing?" asked Peter. "If you go in there, you'll fly out the other side," said Sue. "You three have a lot to learn," said Panda. Panda walked in the building, and the humans dashed towards the opening, only to see Panda standing on the flat floor of the tilted building. "Your world and this world have some similarities," said Panda. The humans entered the building, still stunned at the tilted structure having a solid walk surface and not an angle. "It is about time you returned home, Panda. I thought you were going to the Field of Bones," said an odd creature. "This place is making me wonder if I'm not in a dream or something," said Sue. "Pickle, this is Peter, Dale, and Sue," said Panda. "Welcome," said the odd creature. "Please forgive me, but what are you?" asked Peter. "I am a pickle, with blue eyes, a nose, a mouth, ears, hands with 4 fingers, colored green, and feet with 6 toes colored yellow," said Pickle. "Where are we?" asked Peter. "You're in Revelation," replied Panda. "What is Revelation?" asked Dale. "Please have a seat, and I'll explain everything," said Panda. The humans sat down on a massively long sofa, while Panda and Pickle sat down in wooden chairs. "You are no longer in the world you once knew. You have entered a digital dimension, or a new world, using an ancient creature called Soul Train," said Panda. "Where in this world are we?" asked Peter. "We are living in Doom City, a part of the kingdom called Land of Weirdness," said Panda. "How many kingdoms are there in Revelation?" asked Sue. 7, replied Pickle. Panda continued to inform the 3 humans the names of all 7 of the kingdoms. Land of Weirdness, the Volcano Lands, the Kingdom of Death, Land of Bones, the Rich Lands, Land of the Fallen, and the Kingdom of Hope. Inside of the boundaries of each of the 7 kingdoms roam numerous odd creatures. In Land of Weirdness, anything you could think of that would appear weird, such as that a pickle, would exist. In the Volcano Lands roamed untold number of dinosaurs that could breathe fire. In the Kingdom of Death stood cursed homes, Death Valley, an extremely long graveyard, and mile-high red mountains. In the Land of Bones, a jungle full of hazardous monsters lived. An arena of ice stood, and the Field of Bones laid full of a million corpses of dead warriors. Panda went on to tell what was inside of the Rich Lands, the Land of the Fallen, and the Kingdom of Hope, but in lesser detail. After all this, Pickle stood up and gave Peter, Dale, and Sue each a map of the world they were in the moment. "How can we return to our world?" asked Peter. "I'm not sure how, but I know who would," said Panda. "He doesn't have the power," said Pickle to Panda. "Heaven Dragon may not have won the battle against Hell Dragon at Fort Knox in the Kingdom of Hope, but he knows who can return these humans to their world," said Panda. "Who and what are Heaven Dragon, Hell Dragon, and Fort Knox?" asked Peter. For the past 10,000 years, Revelation has been a battleground. Those wanting freedom for Revelation have joined Heaven Dragon's army, while those wanting Revelation to be in complete darkness and destruction have joined Hell Dragon's army. Many years ago, Heaven Dragon lost the battle of defending Fort Knox against Hell Dragon, which pushed our leader into his last stronghold, the Field of Bones. It is there Heaven Dragon and Hell Dragon have set up their lands and have been fighting for over 9,000 years, said Panda. Panda and I fought at Fort Knox against Hell Dragon. However, we were injured and sent to the medical units of this city, said Pickle. And here we have remained until either Heaven or Hell Dragon wins this war, said Panda. Can you guide us to Heaven Dragon? Asked Peter. Yes, but in case something should happen, you must use your superpowers, said Panda. What superpowers? Asked Dale. Panda explained that the humans in Revelation could control fire and water, could create anything in their mind, and had a complete knowledge of all the seven kingdoms, locations, and all the awesome creatures in each. Then Pickle interjected to tell the humans that not all the creatures of Revelation were friendly. Peter, Dale, Sue, Panda, and Pickle geared up on food and water and left the odd building. The group of 5 walked north through Doom City and saw many other weird creatures in Land of Wilderness, such as moving wireless computers, cotton candy moving around in the form of a human, and cookie machines moving around on legs of steel. Soon after, the unit of 5 ventured out of Doom City and onto a steel bridge. Below the bridge connected Land of Weirdness and the Volcano Lands. Crashed an immense wave in the water beneath the travelers. While walking on the bridge towards the Volcano Lands, the group walked through a maze of dead creatures, rusted swords, and torch tanks. This bridge was a standoff point against Hell Dragon, while Heaven's Dragon army fled to Land of Bones, said Pickle. After a brief travel on the steel bridge, Panda made a statement, booming loud enough for creatures 20 miles away easily to hear. Welcome into a new kingdom, the Volcano Lands, said Panda. The group of 3 humans and 2 odd creatures entered the new kingdom to continue onwards on their journey to locate Heaven Dragon's land. Chapter 2, The Volcano Lands. As we entered the smallest kingdom of Revelation, the sight of the towering volcanoes approached us as we walked among many hundreds. The smell of choking poisonous fumes were in the heavens, and the dark clouds concerned Sue that they would storm down acid and not rain. The sides of the volcanoes were quiet, yet you could hear the crashing of water fainting into the magma inside the colossal rock formations. We need to find shelter. The night in this kingdom awakens many creatures that will kill us, said Panda. Peter looked west of the cluster of volcanoes to see a huge camp. This is Camp Death, said Pickle. Why the evil name? Asked Dale. It is believed to be home to a doctor that almost unleashed dinosaurs into your world, yet was killed by his own creation, said Pickle. I don't care about location's history, as long as we have protection from the fumes in the air and the monsters on the ground, said Peter. The group walked through a smashed steel and barbed wire gate and looked around to see at least 50 other humans lying on the dirt, dead. Let's get inside of the sleeping quarters and building. Let's get inside of the sleeping quarters building and continue onwards in the morning, said Peter. The group slowly walked out of the open area of the cube-like camp and entered one of the many buildings. Each member of the group unloaded their cargo, either from their pants pockets or shirts. It was weird to see a Pickle taking candy bars out of blue jeans and a green button-down shirt. After unpacking their belongings, the 5 travelers ate some food they had and went crashing on the beds inside of the building. During the night, while Panda and Pickle were asleep, Peter, Dale, and Sue awoke. The humans left their beds and huddled around a steel table. They sat down in tiny plastic chairs and began talking about their opinions about the current situation. What are we doing? Asked Sue. This world, which I think is a bad dream, is the strangest thing I've ever seen, said Dale. I know this world is strange, and us having conversations with pandas and pickles aren't normal. If what they say is true about Heaven Dragon, knowing how to put us back home, then I believe we should keep going along with them, said Peter. What if this is not really happening, and this is just a dream? Asked Dale. Peter stood up out of his chair, picked up a big rock, and placed it on the table. Peter sat down and looked at Dale again with a grin. Do you believe that in a dream you can't feel pain? Asked Peter to Dale. Yes, replied Dale. Peter stood up out of his chair again, picked up the massive rock, and smashed part of it on Dale's hand, which was on the table. Whoa! Exclaimed Dale. What was that for, Peter? Asked Sue. To prove my point that this is not a dream, and this is really happening in our lives, said Peter, placing the bulky rock back on the wooden floorboards. What's the game plan in the morning, then? Asked Dale, with a red mark on his left hand. We continue to Heaven Dragon's land with Panda and Pickle, answered Peter. The 3 humans left their chairs and returned to their separate beds to sleep, unaware that Panda and Pickle heard the entire conversation. Time moved on like a whirlwind flashing through a town to start up a tornado, yet our tornado was not storming into the camp, and instead something enormous in size was crashing its feet and snarling with its nose. The thunderous nose awoke all 5 of the travelers, causing them to gear up in case whatever was outside of the building was an extremely savage creature with intentions of coming in. Any ideas of what it could be? Asked Panda to Peter softly. Why are you asking me when you and Pickle have been born in this world? Asked Peter. Because of your superpowers, replied Panda. Sorry, but even if I did, what good would it do us now? Said Peter. It would help me know what the plan would be to not have it kill us, answered Panda. Peter closed his blue eyes, and suddenly his mind started seeing many odd images of the creatures in Revelation. Peter opened his eyes 10 seconds later and started closing all of the open windows. What's out there? Asked Panda to Peter. A dinosaur that eats meat, replied Peter. Peter finished covering all the windows, and the entire group listened as the thumping of huge feet on the dirt was no more. Peter put a finger to his lips and rotated his head to signal a message to remain faint in movement and speech. Maybe whatever it is gone, said Sue, whispering to her soon-to-be husband, Dale. No, it is still here, because if it left, we would have heard it stopping become silent slowly, not all in 2 seconds, said Dale softly. The humans... Did I skip a page? The humans and creatures moved slowly towards each other and afterwards to the main door out of the concrete building. Peter turned the doorknob, slowly pushed the door open, and looked to see the dinosaur from his mind, standing and looking directly towards the building with the travelers inside of it. He must have smelled us, said Pickle softly. The dinosaur looked at Peter as he closed the door and locked it. What do you call a T-Rex with red and black strips, a horn for a nose, a black tail, 2 hands with 5 claws, feet with 5 toes, and dark red eyes? Asked Peter. Don't forget the hundreds of razor-sharp teeth that are covered in blood on his pretty whiteys, said Dale. The volcano lands are a place of many creatures, yet there are two common ones you'll meet, said Pickle. One of the two is outside and is called a volcano T-Rex because it has the ability to fire fireballs of fire out of its mouth, Pickle continued. The other creatures most common in this kingdom are raptors that are colored blue everywhere, with all of the features of a raptor of your world about 3,000 years ago, said Panda. What are we going to do with a volcano T-Rex standing right next to us, asked Sue. Suddenly, several thumps were being made, and the sides of the building were rattling around. He's trying to get inside, said Dale. The rattling ceased. Fireballs started coming towards the windows, punching holes, and allowing them to fly through the window into the building. We can't stay here much longer, said Panda. We have to leave now, said Pickle. The fireballs continued to fly in and out of the windows while the travelers crawled to another door to leave the building. Peter opened the door and a fireball blasted towards him. No! Exclaimed Sue. The group looked to see the fireball frozen in the air. Peter was using his superpowers to control fire. Peter closed the door and the fireball fell to the ground. That was totally awesome, said Dale. I think there is more than one volcano T-Rex outside, said Peter. What are we going to do? Asked Sue. I saw a gas-powered Jeep outside. If you run to it, I'll protect us from the fireballs to start the engine so we can leave, said Peter. It was the only way to escape the terror of Camp Death. Peter opened the back door again and started freezing dozens of fireballs in midair while the rest of the group started up the nearby gas Jeep. Let's go! Yelled Dale. Peter ran towards the Jeep with 4 volcano T-Rexes chasing him from behind. Peter leaped into the back seat and Dale drove the Jeep out of Camp Death. So where to so we can reach Heaven Dragon's land? Asked Dale. We need to find a dock so we can take out a boat. We need to find a dock so we can take a boat across the oceans, replied Peter. Dale continued driving the gas Jeep for 2 hours until he put it in park. What's going on? Asked Panda. We're out of fuel, said Dale. Peter looked north to see that the group had stopped at another camp. On one piece of wood, lying in the dirt, were the words Camp Re-Echo. Inscribed, the humans and the creatures left... were the words Camp Re-Echo inscribed. The humans and the creatures left the Jeep and looked to see human bodies lying on the ground without heads, while pushing open the barbed wire fence to the camp. This was a camp meant for humans to live in to find a home because of Soul Train, but then the monsters of Camp Death were unleashed, said Panda. Look over there! I think it is a blue raptor, said Dale. The group looked around to see dozens of blue raptors entering the camp grounds. Dale quickly picked up a nearby gas container and started pouring gasoline into the Jeep. Peter and Sue helped Dale, while Panda and Pickle watched as the pack of raptors approached them. Good enough. It has to last for a few hours, said Peter. The 3 humans sat down in the Jeep while Panda and Pickle followed closely behind them. Panda sat down in the Jeep and Dale imagined a machine gun was in his hands, and what appeared in his hands. While Dale blasted bullets at the pack of hungry monsters, Pickle made his way towards the Jeep. Pickle! Run! Said Sue. Suddenly a blue raptor leaped off the top of a building, landed on Pickle, and ripped Pickle's head from the rest of his body. Dale, drive, said Peter. The Jeep drove off away from Camp Re-Echo, leaving behind a weird but good friend. Panda mourned the most because he knew Pickle as a friend for over 200 years. The Jeep continued driving through more volcanoes, and eventually Dale put the vehicle in park. Panda, what does that read? Asked Dale. This is the boundary between the Kingdom of Death and the Volcano Lands, replied Panda, reading a steel pole mounted in the ground. Hey guys, we have a problem. We don't have any more food or water, said Sue. You 3 must go on without me to Heaven Dragon's land, and I must return home to tell of Pickle's death to his family, said Panda. Take the Jeep with full fuel to avoid those monsters, said Peter, after using his superpowers to refill the Jeep's gas tank. Goodbye and good luck, Peter, Dale, and Sue, said Panda, driving back to Doom City. Peter, Dale, and Sue looked north to see a spooky house on a cliff with bats flying around. The group of 3 began the cautious walk towards the house to resupply and was now in the kingdom of death. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a really long video. I'm trying to make these videos really short. Like I said, I'm dividing this up into 9 parts. This is going to end part 1. Part 2 will be out very soon. You guys have a good one.